Hello, welcome to the next section of the course. In this section, we will focus on more practical projects. It's gonna be all coding, so get ready. Also, since this section, our projects will more and more look like an actual website because now we have a lot of theoretical foundation to do more complex stuff. So let's get to work. Let's look on my screen. At the left side of the screen, I have my starting project. It's just a basic HTML structure with the title of workshop created in the index.html file. And at the right side of the screen, we have the final effect of our project. This is how it will look like. It's gonna be more or less like a prototype of a landing page. Landing pages are very popular now. These are the pages that all the sections of our website are at one page where we scroll down and scroll up our page. As you can see, our landing page doesn't have a scroll bar right now because all the content for now fits into one viewport. So the full screen of our browser window. Here we got marked separate sections of our website, of our landing page. We have a nav right here, our navigation at the top, which is light gray. Below we have our header, the header of our website, where we can place a banner, a slogan or something, which is illustrated in this dark gray color. The next thing we have is the main area of our website, so the whole main content can fit into it. And at the bottom, this white space would be the footer of our website. In this project, we will just illustrate all the sections, except for the navigation, which we want to style in this way as in the project. We have some buttons right here. It's gonna be a workshop project. So we have a home button, repair, towing, and the last button, which is different than all of the rest, is for the registration, and it looks more or less like this. It has its letter spacing bigger, a full border, and when we hover on it, it changes this way. If we hover on other buttons in our navigation, they have this simple but nice effect. What I also wanted to show you about this project is that our website will have 100% of the width of the browser window until it reaches some point, and then it stays centered in the middle of our browser window where we can view it comfortably. This is how we usually create our websites now. That on some wide screens, our whole website should be centered and keep its width. So this is what we are going to do now. So let's just get started. As you can see, I have my index.html file created in my project workshop folder right here. So now I want to create our style sheet, our style CSS file, where we will keep our CSS styles. New file, style CSS, like this. Let me change those text indents to one space. Let's just leave this for now. Let's go back to our index.html file. Now, since we created our style sheet, our style CSS file, we have to import it to our HTML file. Let's do it below our title. Link tag, as you know, we have prepared the style sheet, and all we have to do is to place the href attribute. Since our style CSS and index.html files are in the same folder, all we have to place is the name with the extension of our CSS file. As you can see, the Visual Studio Code already gets me this file right here. So all I have to do is to click it, save our file, and our styles are imported. What we also want to import on our website is this custom font, which is Roboto. So let's go to the Google font site right here. Roboto font is the most famous font from Google, so it's already there. All we have to do is click it. We will get the styles to choose. What we are interested in is this regular 400 style, which is right here. All we have to do is to click the select a style button like this. And as I showed you before, all we need to do is to copy this last link tag. We are not interested in those link tags with the rel attribute of pre-connect, like this and like this. All we have to keep the attention to is the link tag with the rel attribute of style sheet and the href attribute with the address of our custom font. So all we need to remember is to copy this last link tag from here, copy it, place it to our index.html file. What we should do is to place it above our styles, all the link tags, all the style sheets. Later in your work, you'll be using some CSS frameworks like Bootstrap, for example, which will also contain CSS style files placed in the link tags. So it's best to remember that our custom fonts should be the most important and should be at the end of all the link tags on our website. Let's paste this link tag with our font. Let's save our file. And what else we have to do, what else is good to do, is to copy this CSS rule to specify our font family. Just to remember it. It doesn't make so much difference right now where we have only one font, but sometimes we import 3 fonts, for example, with different names or strange names, hard to remember. So it's always good to just mark this font family, copy it, and place it at the beginning of our CSS style file as a comment. Exactly like this. Let's save our file. Let's go back to our index.html file. Let's close this Roboto site. And we are back with our final project. Now let's create the body structure of our website. What we can see at the top is the navigation. So we want to create a nav tag like this. Then we have this dark gray area, which will be the header of our website, like this. The next area will be the main area of our website. So we were going to use the main tag, not the man tag, but the main tag, like this. And this last white area would be our footer. So let's place it exactly like this. And as I showed you before, we want our whole website to be kept in the middle of a website from a certain width. And we can do it simply by wrapping the whole content of our website in a container. For example, a div with the class of wrapper. So what we want to do is to create a div with the class of wrapper. And we want to wrap this whole content of our website inside. It's going to look like this. In our body tag, all we have is this one div called wrapper. And inside this one div, we have all the structure of our website. Now, since we are not adding anything to these sections of our website besides the navigation, let's focus on creating the structure of our nav tag. We are going to just place the A tags, which I showed you before. This is the simpler way of creating a navigation on our website, but it's totally okay to do it. Later on in this course, I will show you more complex and recommended way of creating a navigation in HTML. But this one is totally fine, and as I said before, it's good for beginners since it's not so complex. So we have our nav tag, and inside we are going to place the A tags, which will be our buttons, so our positions in our navigation. We can do it simply by creating all A tag separately, placing in the href attribute the hash symbol. Why I'm doing this? Why I'm placing the hash symbol to my A tags? As we know, href attribute is the actual link where our A tag should lead to. So it could be a subsite of our website. For example, news HTML, if we had news HTML file in our catalog, which will lead to another subsite of our website, or to a whole different website, for example, Google or whatever. But since we don't want for now for our A tags to do anything after clicking on it, you could say that we could just leave the href attribute empty. But if we'll do it, after clicking the A tag, our website will refresh. So the browser has to refresh the website and load every content once again. And if we will have a lot of content, a lot of images or whatever, it can take some time. But when we place the hash attribute, after clicking this A tag or whatever A tag that has the hash symbol in the href attribute, after clicking this A tag, our page will not refresh. Now, if our website would be higher, if we are going to have a lot of content on our website, so the scroll bar appears right here, and we will scroll our website down to the bottom. After clicking the A tag with the href attribute with a hash, it will simply go to the top of the website without refreshing it. But since our whole website fits into one viewport, so it takes place on the whole website window, the browser window, clicking the A tag with the href attribute with the hash will simply do nothing. And it's very convenient and it's very common to use it at the beginning stage of the project when we don't want our A tags to redirect us to somewhere. We just want them to be to style them. So we can do it like this. Let's place the text in our A tags. The first is home. As I said before, pressing the Shift, Alt and arrow down, being with the text cursor on some line, we'll copy this line so we can copy it, change the text in it, repair. The next one is towing. And the last one, which is registration. Like this. And as you can see in the final project, this button is different than all the other ones. So we want to style it separately. So the best way to do this is to give this A tag a class. For example, reg, which would be a registration. It's good to name the classes with the name of with a shortcut name of what they actually represent, like wrapper and reg, as this class wraps the whole body. This represents the registration button. We should not place something like C1, like class 1 or whatever, or LB, which in our mind would be last button or something like this, because this is not readable. And we should place the class names of what they actually do. The second thing I wanted to talk about the classes is that you might ask why I'm using a class if we have only one element with this class. And in this case the same, we have only one button with the registration class. So why am I not using IDs? Since I told you that if we have one element, it's good to place the ID, because ID can be placed only once in one element, and classes are more to use when we want to give a class to, for example, all our A tags with the same class and style them the same. Well, the answer is in CSS, we usually don't use IDs if we don't have specific and particular reason to. Even if we have only one element that we want to defer from the other elements, we usually use classes. Of course, it's not an error, and from a technical point of view, you can do it, but the developers usually use classes in CSS even if there's only one element with this class, because the IDs are more likely to use in JavaScript. Working with JavaScript and manipulating the elements on our website in our document object model often requires using identifiers, and more likely we will use IDs with working with JavaScript on our website. So it's just a common practice for developers that in CSS we use classes and in JavaScript we use the IDs. Now let's save our file and let's see the effect of our work right now. This is how our website looks like, and this is how it's going to be after we finish it. So now let's go back to the view of our project that we are working on. We've done everything in the HTML file, what is need to be done. So now let's just go to our style CSS file like this and style our CSS file. So our website should look exactly like this.